What is up, everybody? It's MadLibbs, and that's right, after almost a year, I'm finally back with another Storytime speedpaint, and this one is a real fucking doozy. So how about you guys get all nice and cozy, get into your bed, go under the covers, and let good old MadLibbs tell you a nice bedtime story about a crazy homeless crackhead I met one time. Let's get started. So I don't know if you guys can tell, but YouTube ain't exactly making me the big bucks right now. I'm not exactly a millionaire over here. So, in the meantime, while I'm, going to school and learning and all that good shit, I'm working at a fast food place. I'm not gonna say which fast food place it is because I'm not 100% sure if I can get in trouble for this or not, but I'm pretty sure you guys will be able to tell anyway. I'm just not gonna say it by name. So I've only been working at this no-name fast food place for a couple months now, and even though I've only been there for a couple months, I have seen some goddamn wackos come in. It's crazy. Working in the public is crazy, or like customer service. You meet all kinds of people. I might actually make a video about that in the future, about all the weird people I've met, but I can't do that for now because this story is going to take up a lot of time. The story of this one specific lady, and her name is Skittles. At least that's the name she gave me. And I'm never going to forget the first time that she told me her name because I have to take down people's names. So I was just like, oh, so you want, this, this, and this? And she's like, yeah, I want those. And I was like, okay, well, can I have your Skittles? So I just put down Skittles in fear. I'm pretty sure that's not her real name because she had a tattoo on her knuckles that had like a T and an E and an R and an H. I don't remember, but I asked her what it was and she said it was her name. So to give you guys a nice mental picture of this lady, I'm going to describe her now. She was very tall, very skinny. I'm really bad at ages, but she looked like maybe 30, maybe 40. I couldn't really tell because it looked like there was a lot going on. Like, time had not been good to her. What also hadn't been good to her was all the drugs that she was probably taking, because with the way that she acted and all the scabs and all that on her face, it was very clear that she had been doing something. She always had her hair in this weird, like, not quite a ponytail, but like a big chunk of her hair would be in a ponytail on the side, and then the rest of it would be down, and there'd be another, like, chunk on the side. I don't know. But anyway, that's what she looked like. And every single day, she would come in and she'd get a burrito. She'd eat it in the back of the restaurant, and then she'd use our bathroom for a really, really long time before she left. I really don't know what she was doing in there, but I always made sure to check which bathroom she was in so I didn't use it for the rest of the day. And I'm also pretty sure that she was homeless. Now, this isn't really uncommon. We get a lot of homeless people where I work, and most of the time they're actually really chill and really nice, like nicer than you'd think they are. They just want to get their food and, just quietly eat. Not her, though. She was very scary, and she was a very nasty woman. So nasty, in fact, that she tried to start shit with literal children multiple times in the store. On the same day, actually. The first time it happened, I wasn't around because I was, like, cleaning the bathrooms and stuff. But apparently some kids had been making a mess, and you guys can't see it, but I'm doing air quotes for making a mess because they left their wrappers on the table when they weren't done yet. And apparently, according to one of my coworkers, she went up to them, not like the parent, telling them, like, oh, your kids need to clean up, like the actual children, and started freaking out on them, like, oh, you guys are making a mess, you need to clean up your mess. And the mom stepped in, and I swear, according to the person who told me this, there was almost a fight. And I do not doubt it, because I did hear a little bit of a skirmish going on when I was in the bathroom. God damn, did I just say skirmish? I also don't doubt it because she started to get into it with another kid like an hour later. She had gotten her, burrito, and she was sitting down, and she had these big sunglasses on and a hoodie that day, and like a dad and a kid came in, and they were sitting like across from her. And the kid was staring at her because, kids stare at everything, especially if you're a really weird stranger in a hoodie and giant sunglasses slowly picking at a burrito in the back. And she kept looking at this poor little kid who couldn't have been more than 8, dead in the eyes, and was doing like this motion. I'll put a video up of the motion that I'm doing because I can't really describe it, but she was doing that, like, what, you want to go, what, like at this poor kid from across the room. And then the dad got up so that he could go get his food because we called his name, and she goes up to the poor kid and starts, I didn't hear what she said, but she was like scolding him and pointing at him, and the poor kid was like backed up against the wall, like because he was in a booth. It was actually that day and like those things that she did that made me like not like her at all and start being very more cautious, that's a sentence, very more cautious around her. So yeah, that's who Skittles is. And she had been coming in for quite some time, about a month or so. She'd come in every day, maybe once, maybe twice, and get her burrito. And she would always do kind of weird stuff, like she'd walk around the store, like, just over and over, like, not sitting down, or she'd, like, look in the garbage. She'd, of course, be in the bathroom for a long time. And it was weird, of course, but none of it was really too much of a cause for concern, except for the thing with the kids, which me and another coworker of mine talked to our boss about, maybe, like, being a little more careful around her or thinking about not serving her. But that was really all she did. Until one very, very special day. Now, I'm gonna tell you guys this story. And as I tell you this, I want you to keep it in mind that this all happened within the course of a day. The day this happened was an ordinary day like any other. Skittles had already come in the morning, got her burrito, and left. And I didn't expect anything else to happen that day. I didn't expect her to come back, and I especially didn't expect the shitstorm that happened that day. So I was just sweeping, I was just chilling, you know, getting stuff done because nobody was in the restaurant. It was a really slow day, and like it was basically empty. When all of a sudden, I hear her running outside, and I hear a big thunk on the ground, and I look over, and she had dropped 2 gigantic bags, like a duffel bag, and like I don't even know what kind of bag this was, but it was huge, and she had dropped it in front of the door, and she opens the door and runs in, and this lady is wearing, like, I think yoga pants, shoes. I wasn't paying attention to the shoes or the pants, if I'm being honest, because I was just looking at the fact that she was wearing like a girdle, like a waist trainer thing. She was wearing a Shopkins t-shirt and like costume jewelry, like children's costume jewelry, and she had a giant yellow chain, not like a jewelry chain, like an actual construction type chain wrapped in an X across her body. I don't know why she had a chain. I don't know where she got it. I don't know where she got all this other stuff, because up until that day she had been wearing the exact same thing every day. So anyway, I was just staring at her in complete befuddlement. She runs in, she runs past me, yelling about how she has to pee, because I was by the bathrooms. And she's like,
I have to pee, I have to use the bathroom, can I use the bathroom?
I was like, ma'am, you can't use the bathroom because there's people already in them, which there was. She didn't care though. She just runs up and she starts like banging on the doors like,
I have to pee, get out. Be quicker, be faster, I have to pee.
And I was like, ma'am, like trying to get her attention while also not scaring her, because she was scaring me. I don't know what was going on, but I was like, ma'am, you can't do that. Please stop. Ma'am, please stop. Ma'am, don't do it. Ma'am, please stop. And she wouldn't. I was like, there's a Subway over there. There's a Subway right over there. Because there was. We were in this, like, shopping center thing. And I was like, there's a Subway over there. Go to the Subway, please. There's a bathroom in there. She's like,
this is the closest one.
I'm like, no, I'm not. I can't
go across the street.
No, I'm not across the street. It's not across the street, Skittles. It's over there. Literally right over there. There's a bathroom. And then before I could finish my sentence, she's all,
okay, watch my stuff. Watch my stuff!
And she, like, busted out the door again, apparently to the Subway. I was just standing there with my jaw on the floor, trying to figure out what just happened. I didn't watch her stuff. I just continued what I was doing. So all that happened. She went to the bathroom, I'm assuming, in the Subway. She came back and she collected her gigantic bags. And the yellow chain on her that was like around her body, it was missing. I don't know how she lost it or where she put it. But anyway, she goes away. So then one of my coworkers gets there and I tell her all about the whole bathroom mishap. And she's like, oh my God, what was that? And I'm like, I don't know what that was. And we thought it was over until we looked out the window. We look out the window and Skittles is in the parking lot with a gigantic chain whipping it around the parking lot like she's some kind of fucking chain master, like she's some kind of medieval knight with a whip. Of course I took a video of it, because how are you supposed to not do that? I'm pretty sure that I can show this because it doesn't show her face and it was filmed in a public parking lot. But anyway, there she is. She was doing that for like half an hour. And periodically, she would take these weird breaks where she would stop and lie face down on the pavement, which was probably fucking boiling. And then she'd get right back up and she'd keep swinging. And the customers in the restaurant, because this is when it was starting to get packed again, were terrified. People were like driving slowly around her to see if she was really doing what everyone thought she was doing, or they would like take another route to avoid her. And then the cops showed up, and I don't know what the fuck happened. I don't know how this happened, but the cops did nothing. They talked to her for like 20 more minutes, and they did nothing. They left, and they left her to do whatever it is she's doing. Maybe they confiscated her chain because she stopped whipping it around. She stopped whipping it around, and came back into the store. Yeah, you thought the story was over. No. Now, if I'm being honest, I was really freaked out. I didn't know what she was gonna do. She was whipping a chain around the parking lot, and now all of a sudden she wants back in the store because the cops decided not to do shit. So anyway, she comes back in and she makes a beeline for the counter. She doesn't go to the register like she usually would if she's getting her burritos. She just goes straight to the counter and she starts looking behind it. She starts looking at all the people in the kitchen until she sees my boss, who I'm gonna call Barbara. So she goes over and she looks at Barbara and she's all,
Hey.
she starts like calling for her, and I looked at her because I thought she was talking to me, and I was like, what? She's like,
No, her.
so I was like, hey, Barbara, Skittles wants to talk. And now Barbara did not like Skittles at all. None of us did, but she hated her the most. So she goes over and she's like, what? And Skittles just looks at her dead in the eyes, and she's just like,
Hey, are you gay? Do you like girls? Are you gay?
Now, her reason for asking this question, by the way, which she explained, was because, quote unquote, a butch girl gave her $10 in a parking lot. I don't know what that has to do with anything, but she kept repeating it. She kept being like,
Are you gay? Because this one time, a butch girl, she gave me $10 in the parking lot. Are you gay? Are you gay? Because there was a butch girl. Yesterday gave me $10 in the parking lot.
My boss never answered the question if she was gay or not, and because she never answered the question, Skittles just kept asking. Now you could tell that Barbara was really, really pissed off, because just the look in her eyes. So she just kind of stops her and she's like, hey, stop. Are you okay? Because everybody could tell that she was on something. I don't know what she was on, but she was on something. She's just like, are you okay? She's like,
Yeah, I just got stopped by the cops, but I'm fine.
She's like, no, are you okay? She's like,
Yeah, I'm fine.
And I mean, the cops were already there, so what were we gonna do? Call the cops again? They weren't gonna do anything. So Barbara was just like, fine, just go get whatever you want. So she gets in line, my boss walks away, and at this point, I was supposed to clock out and leave and all that because, my shift was over. But I didn't. I clocked out and everything, but I didn't leave. I stayed and I sat a few, like tables away from where the counter was so that I could hear everything. I was on my phone when all of a sudden I hear this fucking thwap. And I look over, and she had taken off her belt and smacked it on the ground as loud as she possibly could, scaring the shit out of these poor children next to her. And she starts laughing after she did it, and she starts putting the belt back on. She's like,
Ooh, that could kick my ass.
I don't know what happened after that, because I just know that I was like texting my mom because she was gonna pick me up. I was like, hey, I'm gonna be in here for a little bit. She gets her food and all that, and all of a sudden I look up and she's right in front of me at the table, and she's like,
Hey, can I sit here? Can I sit next to you?
and I didn't want to get fucking shanked, so I said, okay, fine, you can sit here. She's like,
Okay, cool.
and she sits in the chair right next to me and gets all close to me, and she's just staring at me dead in the eyes, and she's just all,
Hey, what's your name? Is your name Jessica?
and I was just like, no, it's not. My name is not Jessica. And she's like,
Oh, okay. Do you know how to fix a phone?
and she kept like getting progressively closer to me during the conversation. I was like, no, I don't know anything about fixing phones. I'm sorry. She's like,
Oh, okay. All right. Do you know how to get to Metro from here?
and I'm like, no, I don't know how to get to Metro from here. And then she told me a story about Metro that I honestly don't remember. It was just something like,
Oh, yeah, I went to Metro one time, and I was at Metro, and they didn't fix my phone. I want my phone to get fixed because my phone is broken. I need to go to Metro.
obviously that wasn't what she was talking about, but it was the way it sounded was very similar. So I was just like, okay. And then she stops and just stares into dead space for a little while, and then she just looks at me and she's all,
How do you fix a SIM card again?
and I was like, I didn't tell you how to fix a SIM card. I don't know how to do that. I was just giving her all these deadpan answers because I like, half of me wanted to stay there and see where all this went, and the other half of me wanted to really run away. And then she's just like,
So what is your name?
and I know that this was a very stupid decision, but I told her my name. Even though honestly I don't think it mattered, because the next sentence out of her mouth after I told her my name was,
I'm just gonna call you Jessica.
and I was like, okay, sure, you can do that. And then we sat there for another like 30 seconds in dead silence, and I look over, my boss Barbara's staring at me because she sees I'm talking to her, and she's looking and she's like giving me this death glare. So we're there in silence while she just stares me in the eyes, and I'm looking like around trying not to make eye contact with her for a good like maybe 10 seconds probably. And then I was just all, well, I need to go. My ride is here. Goodbye. And I just hopped out of the chair and ran to the door, and she's like,
Okay, bye, Jessica.
and I didn't say anything.
Okay, bye. Bye, Jessica. Bye, Jessica.
She just kept saying it louder, so I just turned around and I was like, okay, bye. And then I ran to the car. After that, me and the same coworker that I've been talking about, the one who like told me the story about how she was like trying to get into it with the little kids, we decided that it would probably be best if we didn't serve her anymore and if we banned her from the premises. So we got in contact with like our manager, like the manager of both the stores, and we were like, listen, we don't think we should serve this lady because she is disrupting customers and we think she might be dangerous. And my boss was like, yeah, sure, that sounds good. We didn't see her since. Ever since that one day with the parking lot chain, we haven't seen her. And at first I thought that maybe she got arrested, or maybe something happened to her, or maybe she like drifted away. But that's not what happened, because I ended up talking to my manager, you know, the one that we talked about, you know, banning her from the store with. And she told me, she was like, oh yeah, she tried to go over to the other store because there's 2 locations that one manager owns and that I switch between, and a lot of us, you know, we go between the 2 stores. Anyway, she was like, oh yeah, she tried to come over to that store thinking that nobody would recognize her, and she was bothering customers and asking them for money and all that stuff, and I had to stop her, and I told her that if I ever see her in either of my stores, I'm gonna call the police and she's not allowed to come back. And I was like, oh, damn. And apparently she had gone by, because it was my day off, so I didn't see this, but she went by the store, the one with the parking lot chain thing, and she looked in the window and she saw that the manager was there, the one that banned her, and ran away. And to this day, I have not seen her since. So I'm pretty sure the story is over. I'm pretty sure that's where it ends, but I don't know, she could come back. Anyway, that is my story. I actually had a completely different video planned for this week. I was going to do another Awful OCs, but I figured I have not done a Storytime speed paint in 7 months. And this story is a very good story, and I wanted to share it with you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed this, because I really enjoyed making it. And yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and definitely don't forget to subscribe and join the madness. See ya!